Greetings, gentlemen. You're already going to be very well acquainted with the fact that people have been slamming Black Ops 7 into the dirt. I think I speak for the general players in saying that the public beatdown of Black Ops 7 hasn't made the game worse, rather it has overall improved its quality. It has forced Activision to take on a new strategy that's better in line with the community's desires. But it has become rather heartbreaking to the people who do enjoy the game to just see a single Black Ops 7 is garbage narrative blasted on social media, especially since it's likely public opinion will shift in time as it becomes more profitable to hate on a newer game instead of Black Ops 7. Classic CODs, for example BO4, Infinite Warfare, World War II, have had their hate fade away in time. They now remain to be judged through the perspective of objective truth rather than the crazed hysteria of those years. What I'll speak about goes against the media's portrayal of Black Ops 7, so I'm ready to see some passionate haters in the comments. That's absolutely fine. It's only because of the hate that Black Ops 7 received before launch that it didn't just become another trash COD like the last 6. When you break it down to the core and you look at the bigger picture, the COD haters and the COD meat riders really just want the same thing, which is for Activision to actually lock in and make a good Call of Duty game.
Lock the fuck in, that's what I'm doing, nigga.
Let's begin by addressing the big, juicy elephant
Surprise, motherfucker.
in the room. Because of the haters, SBMM finally got removed from normal matchmaking after 7 years of bullshit. Therefore, Black Ops 7 multiplayer is already the best experience out of any COD in the 2020s. If you really like one of the older games better than Black Ops 7, you're not actually wrong. Mechanically, these COD multiplayers could be better than Black Ops 7, but still, Activision robbed your games of so much potential by keeping in the SBMM. You were never able to play the pure experience. 2020 CODs were like athletes with immense talents who became crack fiends, while Black Ops 7 is that one weak-ass, skinny-ass dude, can't lift 2 kg, but he still wins the season because he actually showed up, while the rest were doing crackhead shit. I played BO4, which is the last COD with no SBMM, that's just facts, and I've played it since launch right up until now before Black Ops 7. There is a difference between BO4, no SBMM lobbies, and BO7 no SBMM lobbies, but that's likely because of other factors rather than a different algorithm. First, BO6 ranked wasn't renewed, and there is no BO7 ranked at this time yet, so all the grinders are in pubs. Also, the bots can just choose to keep SBMM turned on if they prefer. And lastly, no one bought the game because the game got shit on. So of course the first couple of months, the lobbies won't be great, but as time goes on, the grinders chill out and go to ranked, and Christmas noobs hop on the game. Lobbies can't really get worse, they can just get better over time. It may be possible, truthfully possible, that Activision is still manipulating the lobbies, but risking the community's goodwill just to finesse the lobbies when it's not even necessary doesn't make sense. There is already a standard playlist to protect the trash cans, so I don't think that's the case. The lobbies are much better than week 1 of the beta though.
Flashback.
Oh, anybody's already on. I'm trying hard. Oh, what does this lobby, man? Oh, I'm dead by a shotgun, man.
End of flashback.
The game is actually playable now. This is literally the #1 Call of Duty issue in the last 6 years, and it's finally been fixed in BO7. I don't know why no one cared. It's weird. People have been asking for this for 6 years, since BO4. It gets fixed. Barely anyone says anything. It's like it didn't really matter. What? So let me say it myself.
I am so proud of you. So proud of you.
Thank God there is no SBMM anymore. Thank God the multiplayer is actually playable now. And thank God I'm not getting tortured all day. I could not stand that shit in MW 2019 and Cold War, and I just quit. I was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. Regarding the multiplayer, honestly, no one really knows what makes a COD multiplayer good. Every single year, some random group of disappointed players voices their concerns with extreme passion, and they do have their policies and ideas implemented sometime in the future, which will then annoy another group of players who will attack those policies endlessly until they are overturned or replaced. And so the cycle will go on and on and on and on and on. It's like donkeys pulling a rope in a never-ending tug of war. The policies that do stick aren't even decided by public opinion, by the way. Instead, it's just a clear yes or no question of, is this shit profitable? Look at the carry forward change before Black Ops 7. Coincidentally, something the community wanted was also something that would profit Activision, as it would force people to buy new bundles in Black Ops 7 since they wouldn't keep their originals from Black Ops 6 anymore. Also, microtransactions have always been unanimously hated for a decade, and even though they were completely removed from COD Black Ops 4 in late 2019, November 12th to be exact, that change never stuck, ever. You still can only get microtransactions with COD points. There is no in-game currency because it wasn't profitable, even though everyone likes it. So it doesn't matter if I spend 100 words, 1,000 words, 10,000 words trying to convince you why Black Ops 7 perks, maps, score streaks, etc. are so good, and why you should tell them that everybody should worship the Black Ops 7 multiplayer, and you should tell everybody else to worship the Black Ops 7 multiplayer. If you do not worship the Black Ops 7 multiplayer, you are an idiot. No, that's a waste of time. Just watch and go play the game and just see for yourself if it's good or not. There is a flip side to this though, of course, otherwise there would be no video. I can't prove BO7 is good, but there is a lot to say about why Black Ops 7 is not bad, and it's definitely made itself very difficult to be considered trash. A few years ago in Modern Warfare 2019, the maps were painful to play because they were all trash. Gigantic and unpredictable, made even worse by the game's mechanics, no dead silence, slow ADS, doors, etc. The only remedy you had was shipment. Even more years before that, COD World War II released, and its maps were also trash because there was only 9 at launch, and all were 3-lane, cookie cutter, uninspired maps, where the only outlier was a big ass goose stab cannon bigger than my big black dick. So, here's two completely opposing styles, big crazy maps and small 3-lane maps, which were both negatively received and trashed by the community. Clearly, it's not the map formula that matters in a COD. Black Ops 7 maps are special because there is so much quantity of maps this year that the variation which comes from that quantity in itself becomes an objective quality. It is impossible for BO7 to be unplayable for specific people like Modern Warfare 2019 was to people who play fast or people who liked BO2 for example, and World War II was to the people who liked COD Ghosts. Instead of trying to create a perfect map formula, they just literally added as much of everything as possible to reduce the chances of a specific map formula failing the game. There's already about 30 maps and the game has only been out for 2 months. BO4 at this time would have had about 20, and 3 of these would have been from a paid DLC. Of course, some of the maps in Black Ops 7 may be unplayable for you, but there is clear variation between the maps. Black Ops 7 has safe maps like Raid, Standoff, or an even better example than this is Nuketown, which is a safe map that literally returns every single Black Ops game since 2010. These provide a good standard and consistency for a player. It's like the McDonald's of maps. You know it will play well. This has been tried and tested before. Then you have a spectrum that starts at simple and goes to complex in map design. On one side, you have face-off, small-ass, brain-rot maps, and on the other, you have the 2 20v20 battlefield open world style maps. And then in the middle is all the multiplayer maps, going from something like Colossus, which is just standard 3-lane map, up to Retrieval, which is who knows how many lanes and cross lanes, plus 50 meters of elevation difference because of the rocks everywhere. It literally looks like someone straight out of COD Ghosts. So it doesn't matter if you prefer big-ass maps or small, competitive maps. BO7, thankfully, has enough variety that it doesn't force you to play on one style of map. What variety was there in Modern Warfare 2019? Big ass map with doors, or an even bigger ass map with doors. Or big ass map, which is ultra humongous with doors. And what about BO4? I love BO4, but still, same problem. 3-lane map with elevation, 3-lane map with water, 3-lane map in the desert. You see the point. BO7 has both, which is so good. Imagine how much potential World War II lost by releasing the more experimental maps as paid DLC instead of mixing them in with the release maps. Because there was a ton of really large experimental maps, but only in DLCs. And that certainly hurt World War II's initial impression, since it alienated the people who wanted some more bigger, crazier maps like we had in World at War. Black Ops 7 maps are great, and an underappreciated part of the maps in Black Ops 7 is Treyarch has been updating them in the game's life cycle. I don't know if this was a thing before, like in BO6 or something, but I'm shocked people have not given this credit, because in the past they would only alter beta maps, which would be a minute fraction of the full game map roster. Seaside, Gridlock, and Hacienda in Black Ops 4, for example, were changed after the beta, but that's 3 out of like 25 maps. Black Ops 7 did fix maps after the beta, specifically Forge, with the doors and the horrible ass lines of sight on that map, but Exposure and Toshan both got improvements by adding or removing connectors in the game's lifecycle. If Treyarch keeps doing this throughout the year, this is very good for the game's longevity. BO4 Jungle Flooded is still to this day broken with a spawn trapping, and Arsenal Sandstorm was so broken, Treyarch didn't even bother fixing that shit, they just straight up completely deleted it. Black Ops 7 won't have this problem, it seems. The interactable elements on the maps are also really cool. They made them feel more alive, like Imprint's mid-elevator or Exposure, with the spinning container which lets you parkour to mid-map. They're a nice bonus that liven up the maps and give them some character. If you really have a problem with BO7, I don't think it's the maps. The bigger maps don't force you to camp and hold headies, and the smaller maps don't funnel you through only 3 different lanes. There's a bit of freedom, and it also means different modes in multiplayer have a chance to stand out on weirder maps. Infected or Prop Hunt, for example, completely break what you would consider to be a good or a bad map to be. So as long as there's enough map variation, it will allow you to feel certain modes in different ways.
I got it! No, but I'm dead! No!
Similar to the maps, the creator class elements like perks, equipment, score streaks, field upgrades, and wildcards aren't good, and they aren't bad. It's all personal taste. But again, there's so much of them that you'll likely find something you enjoy, and also something that you hate. Black Ops 7 has a sandbox style where you can experiment with all these elements to discover what you desire most. There's about 22 perks in Black Ops 7, which is quite a lot. Treyarch did mess up the balancing completely. You couldn't play the game without dexterity, for example. But after the beta, everything got fixed, so they've done pretty well to polish up the meta. And for the first time in a Black Ops game ever, they added the Specialist wildcard, which is so amazing, and you can use all those 22 perks, well, technically like 21 of them I think, together. Some perks even come from Blackout, like Close Shave, which is the Brawler perk equivalent. Brawler was the most overpowered perk in the original Rebirth Island, and that's really cool to see it return over here. And like with every game, there will always be a combination of perks that you'll play with for the majority of the time. But it's good to know if you want to camp or troll, well, there's a lot of perk selection for that. Also, all the equipment and score streaks have mastery badges, so you have a reason to actually use all of them, even if some of them are just goofy memes. Once you get enough kills, you get gold for each equipment and diamond for the whole set after you get every gold, which you can then show off in your showcase. Which, speaking of the showcases quickly, is really good. Since it's not just a single tab like order cards, you can scroll and see a calling card tab, a badges tab, a gun tab, etc. I really like that. The badge system adds longevity and replay value to the multiplayer. Whatever you use will track and have some meaning since you can show it off. More meaningful to the game than that is the overclock system for score streaks, equipment, and field upgrades, which also lets you upgrade them with buffs after earning enough XP. Now, did you know the Black Ops 4 Ajax 9 bang is in Black Ops 7? They hit it pretty well, but if you put on the level 3 upgrade on the flash grenade, you get to have a Black Ops 4 9 bang. Wow!
Holy shit.
The decoy field upgrade can also have a flash upgrade if you want to camp harder with it and have it bully the enemies. I think this is really good for replay value and progression. There's a reason to actually try out all the weird gadgets instead of just the meta. All of the equipment is in zombies instead of being separated, Black Ops 4 actually had the same amount of equipment as BO7, but they were all separated in zombies, blackout, and multiplayer, so it felt like there was much less. The sight grenade is basically a meme equipment in multiplayer, but on zombies, it's actually pretty good. It basically works like turned or brain rot ammo mod, but more overpowered. Plus you can use a lot of the equipment to help with dark matter, or in this case infestation camo. So even though there's a lot of them, they all have a use. And also, because of carry forward, there's even more equipment and score streaks coming in from BO6. On top of that, they've even had more original score streaks in DLC. So by next season, there will be around 30 plus score streaks, which is insane. And of course, even more maps are coming in from BO6, like Fringe. The sheer quantity of stuff in Black Ops 7 is insane. If they decided to keep updating the game in 2027 for a second year, there might even be like 100 multiplayer maps. That's a lot of content to enjoy. I've talked a lot about the quantity a lot, but the movement in Black Ops 7 is good for a different reason. Since a game can only have one style of movement, you can't just add 20 different movement features to make it good. I prefer the faster paced movement style like BO7, but I won't argue against the people who prefer MW 2019, Ghosts, or World War II slower movement. But people are falling for the illusion that BO7 movement is too fast. It's actually slower than BO4. Just move your FOV down to 65, which is about the OG COD FOV, and then you'll see your sprint speed is actually similar to BO2. But everyone now plays and uploads gameplay with high FOV, so it creates the illusion that the movement is really fast, but too fast. If you played BO3 Zombies on console, you'll see what I mean when you compare the feel to PC world record speedruns. It's completely different. For this section, I'll give a lot of personal opinions, so get ready to become triggered. Number 1. Putting tac sprint in as a perk was an amazing idea. I don't think tac sprint was ever necessary in a Black Ops game. Movement is binary. Either you jump or you don't. Either you slide or you don't. But you can't do both sliding and jumping literally at the same time in the same moment. So adding in more variations of sprint like tac sprint did, I don't see the point. It's just too much to add. Omni movement is a bit different because it didn't add new variations of sprint. It just buffed sprinting so you can do it on all sides. Regardless, if you like tac sprint, it's there. You can still have it. Changes like this are amazing because they give everyone what they wanted, and removing tac sprint wouldn't be good since it's fun to use in zombies and endgame. Another thing that is great with Black Ops 7 movement is Treyarch updated it as players requested. I already mentioned the dexterity perk change, but in the beta, sliding and wall bouncing would put you in some Apex Legends bullshit stance, so you needed dexterity to be able to compete. I didn't see anyone who liked that. If you did, tell me in the comments, because you're crazy. Anyway, Treyarch changed it, and you don't have the Apex Legends bullshit, and you don't need dexterity. Now look at Infinity Ward. 7 years, people complained, whined and begged about doors, and they did nothing. Zero. They were dedicated to trolling you for years. Treyarch literally fixed doors on release after the beta feedback. This is just the facts. The new movement in Black Ops 7 was the wall bounce. I haven't seen much people love it, but I also haven't seen much people hate it. Literally the theme of this video. I will say the wall bounce wasn't a bad addition since instead of adding a new movement, I don't know what they could have just added like a backflip or some bullshit. It's just basically buffed your jump. You can only improve movement in two ways. You either add more movement, which is what BO6 did, and that doesn't work because you can only do one movement at a time. Why do I need to be able to dolphin dive in four directions? Of course you can chain movement like they do in Mortal Kombat and do some combos, but you die too fast in COD to do that, so what's the point? Most of the movement additions become gimmicks. Even the original dolphin dive from 2010 was a gimmick. Nobody used that shit. But you can also improve movement by buffing already existing movement. BO3 did this by buffing the slide and the jump, and so did BO4. BO4 actually did it so hard that they had to nerf after the beta, so the BO4 movement you know isn't even the final form. What you have right now is about 66% of the original. Advanced Warfare basically did this as well since they added dashing to your jumps. Let me clarify. Dashing isn't a new movement, same as wall running, since it was something that you would branch into from a jump. You couldn't do a slide dash, for example. Black Ops 7's wall bounce also falls under this category. It's a buff for jumping, not a new movement. Some people say it isn't enough, and some people say they should have kept it boots on the ground. Let's ignore opinions for a second and just look at the side effect of this change. The map variety actually expands since you can put windows at higher elevations without creating camping spots, and you can also have different peak spots and ways to traverse throughout the maps. BO4 did this as well, but instead they buffed jump, mantle height, and mantle speed. They didn't add double jumping. Maps therefore have a unique style to them in BO7, and returning maps like Raid, Standoff, and Nuketown don't play exactly the same as they did in BO6, which is why I think overall, some movement, like the wall bounce, is a good feature. The guns in the game are literally normal. I'm not going to be going through analyzing how delicious they look because honestly no one cares. They look nice, they sound nice, and their balance pretty nice. I don't think any Call of Duty has ever made guns low quality. More important to the guns though is how the gun system works and the challenges. First of all, the weapon prestige system is amazing. It's not just some forgettable bullshit right now. Weapon prestige now gives you multiple camos you can unlock for each gun, and the camos are really good. Do I care about the Echo 12? No. But will I play with it and go try and get it to master prestige max level? Yeah, because the weaponized 115 camo is really good. In the past, you only got a kill counter and some clan tag, which in older games didn't even transfer across the modes. You couldn't use your clan tag in zombies if you earned it in multiplayer. Now you get camos which you can use on any gun and on any mode. That's dope. Leveling up the guns is also not tedious since you can do it in zombies or endgame. Plus, you can put some of your double XP tokens to use. One side effect to this is since each gun has 5 camos, plus DLC guns also have more camos added onto them, I don't think anyone will ever use them all. There's just way too many. Still, that's a way better problem than having too few. The prestige attachments is another reason to go into weapon prestige. This is a revamped version of the Black Ops 4 operator mods, but better in a few ways. You know, BO7 does really feel like a successor, sort of, to BO4 in some way. They have a lot of similar features to that shit. Anyway, all the guns in BO7 have a prestige attachment. In Black Ops 4, only 2 out of the 7 ARs had an operator mod. Black Ops 7 having them on all guns is amazing. Most of the time, they completely change how the gun behaves. The 𝒃𝒆𝒄𝒆𝒅 turns into a BO2 foul on crack, for example, and these will also behave differently on different modes. Some prestige attachments are okay in multiplayer, but really useful in zombies. So if there is about 40 guns in Black Ops 7 already, plus all of them get converted with a prestige attachment, you basically have 80 plus unique weapons in the game. And you can go try them out in 3 separate modes. There is a lot of replay value. On top of that, you have 4 different dark matter camos you can go get for campaign, multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone, and an ultra dark matter for getting all 4, which is crazy. That was one of my greatest disappointments with BO4, which first introduced multiple dark matters. If you got all 3, nothing happened. Yeah, I've tried out the camo grind, and the camo challenges are very good. Some years they just add next level AIDS challenges for the camos. I haven't seen any on BO7 for campaign, multiplayer, and zombies yet. If there is some, at least you have the ability to skip the whole gun, since DLC guns will also count for your mastery camo. OG CODs never had this, by the way, so that's another plus for BO7. That's pretty dope. Right now the meta is to skip rocket launches for multiplayer singularity camo and do 2 DLC guns like 𝒃𝒆𝒄𝒆𝒔 and the Kogut.
𝒃𝒆𝒄𝒃 is ready.
As a system, I've always preferred pick 10 over Gunsmith for balance since it removes nade spam, which is an issue on BO7, but honestly, Gunsmith is alright. Lastly, on BO7 multiplayer, I have not seen any cheaters yet. I've actually seen more on BO4, which doesn't even have crossplay, so that's pretty cool, I guess. At least they locked in with Ricochet anti-cheat this year, thankfully. There is one amazing thing with Black Ops 7 game modes. Thank God they didn't add party modes as a content update. Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, both had them on launch. But then for 10 years, Treyarch made us wait after the game's release to add them back in. And sometimes they didn't even add them back in. For example, BO3 never had Sticks and Stones or Sharpshooter and it got updated for 3 years. Bro, come on. This is another benefit of carryover since they were just ported all from BO6. Thank you, Treyarch, for not making us wait ages for them, because that would be long.
I am so proud of you. So proud of you.
All the party modes are amazing. They are probably some of the best parts of the game. Although they make your lobby disband, so unfortunately it's hard to troll people constantly like in old CODs.
Eh? Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No! Oh my god, and he just stabbed me again! No!
This is fucking rigged, me. He's a fucking cunt, this cunt. Lad, it keeps spawning me here. That's right. What's this shit game?
I don't know why the lobby disbands, because BO7 doesn't have disbanding lobbies. Like, they don't close. They might close after a while, but they don't close straight after the match. For some reason, party modes do. I really don't know why. It's weird. You have the classic 4 party modes, so 1 in the chamber, gun game, sharpshooter, and sticks and stones, plus the seasonal ones. There was Snow Fight, where it's a 6v6 snowball only, 1 life, 6 rounds, face off, and there's Prop Hunt, which is really fun to play with friends. Let's imagine you don't like the game. Well, previously in a lot of cards, all you had was just the competitive modes. There was no party modes. At least in Black Ops 7, you can have fun if you don't want to try hard. And every season they've been adding more modes into the game, which is dope, and the game doesn't go stale. BO3, although it was good, didn't have shit for modes unfortunately. It was so boring for the first year. Black Ops 7 of course has all the standard modes that return every year, literally no difference. I ain't ever seen or heard anyone complain and whine that they're bringing back Domination for the 20th year in a row. It's normal. I'm gonna be straight up with the new modes though. They're pretty okay, and that's about it. Overload is like uplink from BO3, but boots on the ground. Takeover is a cool spin on Domination. I mean, they're cool. There's also the 20v20 large map modes, which is dope. They're nice to get some of your camo grinding done on. Is it as good as Battlefield? No! But at least they're there if you like humongous maps. Black Ops 2 is such an epic game, Treyarch decided to not make 1, not 2, but 3 direct sequels to Black Ops 2. All y'all campaign haters, listen to this. If you only had to keep 1 out of the 3 campaign sequels to BO2, which would you keep? If y'all said BO3 or BO4, you're trolling. Black Ops 4 campaign was literally just a tutorial mode from BO7 multiplayer. Yeah, that's the campaign. And BO3 had 2 campaigns, which were both nothing to do with BO2, and were unenjoyable since the whole story was supposed to be discovered through Easter eggs and riddles instead of the actual game. The BO7 campaign is the only worthy successor to Black Ops 2. Whether you like that or not, it's just the facts. Is it good? I don't know. But at least it did the minimum of having a story structure and plot. The Black Ops 7 story continues straight after the Kill Menendez ending from BO2, which led to Menendez's followers going apeshit and raining anarchy on the world. Because of that, the guild, led by Kagan, the baddie, has been able to rise in power by using technology to pacify and protect the world. And 10 years after BO2, they begin to use dirty tactics to make the world further rely on them. It's actually a similar concept to COD Advanced Warfare, but instead of Kevin Spacey, you have Kagan, the baddie. All the characters from BO2 return, so Mason, Harper, Samuels, Karma, Anderson, even Menendez technically. And they're forced to fight with their inner demons when Mommy Kagan torments them with a cradle gas. Or basically Nova gas, Red.
Just drop your link. We're waiting for the OnlyFans. Hurry up.
Now hold on. Let me cook here real quick, type shit. The reason my Black Ops 7 campaign is a top 5 campaign in the COD franchise is the villain. I haven't seen a villain so well designed in a COD campaign for years. Even good campaigns like Infinite Warfare had a pretty boring villain. It was hard to understand them since their intentions weren't really fleshed out. You can see what I mean if you try and imagine them as a different actor. You may realize the story and the vibes wouldn't change much, and that means they're pretty shallow. Now try and replace Friedrich Steiner with a 6'4", big, 12-inch, big black controller, black dude named Requise. And the whole game literally changes because Steiner, as a character, is tethered to a bigger concept and bigger stereotypes. He's some crazy neo-Nazi like Edward Richtofen. You can't replicate him, he is him. A lot of modern CODs have villains that base their center of gravity or soul, or desires and existence, leading up against the protagonist, so they become quite cliche and predictable. it also becomes hard to understand them. They're support characters who orbit the protagonist rather than an equal force that collides with them, like a yin and a yang. This is harder to write, but ultimately it is how reality is. You have your Mao Zedong and your Chiang Kai-shek, your Stalin and your Hitler, your Shepard and your Price, and your Kagan and your Mason, allegedly. Literally, every time Kagan was on screen, me and my friends were getting so hyped. Oh, it's the badge.
Oh, we see her in person.
No way. She's even more bad in person.
Yeah,
Oh,
can we see
we're
her
gone.
ass? Please tell me we can see her ass in this angle, please. Keep walking forwards, please. No! No, why'd you hook us? Why'd you change camera angle?
Go put the picture from her in AI porn and make her naked.
What the fuck?
Some
Corrupt, she's bad.
oh, they do. Damn.
Screenshot. Last 50 seconds. Edit. Make edit in this. Make edit.
Oh, hell no.
What are we doing here?
Oh, yeah.
What a baddie. Take a picture.
Take a picture.
Look how she's getting
I'm
raped
looking at tattoo,
now.
bro.
She's getting raped now.
Bro, I'll put on my Zim. New keyboard, have pictures in it.
Kagan is literally so bad. So sexy. So hot. She's better than 𝒂𝒔𝒕. She better than Velma. She better than Sandy. She better than Wednesday. Pause. Wednesday is older than me. Pause. I swear down on Epstein's grave. Sometimes you watch movies or play campaigns and you literally don't give a solitary shit about the villain. Let's imagine a universe in which they didn't write Kagan well. Well, at least they built her like a 10 out of 10. There's a reason for me to listen to her. That's better than having some bold crackhead talking crazy riddles to you for hours like in BO3. If Taylor was a certified baddie, maybe I would give a shit about the frozen forest. Maybe. Anyone who disagrees with me might possibly be a homosexual. And that's okay. So you can either agree with me spitting the facts, or you can deny the facts, but at least have the decency to say and embrace the fact that you're gay. 𝒂𝒔𝒕 is a new supporting hero in the game. She's black, she's fat, she's a woman, and she's ugly as hell. The people who are hating on her are missing the point. Having such a diverse character represent 𝒃𝒆𝒄𝒄𝒄's inclusive modern direction helps uplift oppressed, disenfranchised people who tend to be 𝒃𝒆𝒄𝒄. All the campaign characters should have been fat, black, lesbian women, except Kagan, because she's so bad, bro. Since that is what would attract fat, black, lesbian women to come play the game. And then all y'all can go troll them, bully them, drop nukes on their head. Having inclusive characters is only a good thing long term. Y'all should have been celebrating this shit. Like, damn, I'm gonna be able to annihilate, devastate, soft ass LGBTQ transformers because they saw a fat, black lesbian as a playable character. That is the vibes. Yes, they could have added Crosby instead. In the short term, it may be more enjoyable, but you'd miss out on all the long-term benefits. Y'all are not seeing how the puzzle fits together. Y'all are all sheep. I'm here to set you free. Everything I've been spinning has literally been revealed to me by God. God himself ordered me to enlighten the people. Like in the Matrix, you can choose what you make of reality. Do you want to be a peon who complains, or do you want to be a Sigma and grasp your destiny like you would Kagan's ass?
What the fuck was that?
The style of the 𝒃𝒆𝒄𝒄 campaign is heavily based on zombies, and actually, well, Warzone to be honest, with the armor plates and weapon rarities. This actually doesn't affect the campaign at all, because while your guns improve, the enemies also get stronger. So why is this feature here? Well, it serves to introduce the endgame mechanics, which is the best part of the campaign. Over there, armor and rarity actually make a massive difference since you can move through difficulty zones. Unique to the campaign, the level design is the main focus point of the campaign gameplay. Since the game revolves around a more overpowered Kanye West nitrous gas, which makes you teleport into different dimensions and bends reality, it means the campaign has a ton of cool parkour elements throughout, as they don't have to be limited by physics anymore. There's a bunch of floating shit everywhere to jump on and explore. You can see what I mean in the Black Ops 2 LA mission, which takes place in the city and turns into an abomination. The roads twirl around in the air and shit, and you jump on floating cars. There's a ton of verticality, and the levels don't feel totally linear with just point A and point B. Traversing levels has been well designed. You get a lot of freedom, especially in the Avalon missions where you can walk, wingsuit, drive, swim, or whatever to get to the objectives. You can even fly on a VTOL. It feels fun because it's a bit different. There's some sandbox elements in the campaign. The literal design and style of the levels is also great. Shark used old locations like Hijack, Courtyard from World at War, Carrier from BO2, and a few more which appear within missions at nice timings. Paired with the bosses, which you get to fight and puzzles you have to solve, the pacing of the campaign was extraordinary. There was always something interesting happening or something interesting to see. In the past, COD relied more on story and plot to drive interest, while the gameplay was pretty consistent. Just run or sneak around and take out the enemies, with some quick time and cinematic elements sprinkled around. But BO7 does it in the inverted way, where the plot points are the side pieces to the actual gameplay. This is also why the campaign has gotten so much hate. The standard has always been, the story is the focus. Although BO7's story is not all bad, it's definitely much better than BO3's attempt to sequel BO2. Actually, BO3 also focused on gameplay and grind, but I mean, there, the total lack of clarity in the plot destroyed the campaign. BO7 at least has plot clarity, which makes it serviceable, even if you dislike the story direction, or maybe more importantly, the quality at which that direction was executed. It's still playable. A lot of people don't like the boss sections of the campaign because they were goofy, but that's just the theme of the missions they were in. Of course, they'll be over the top. 𝒂𝒄𝒆 mission has you go back 10 years into the past while going through teleportation and different memories. Of course, the bosses will be a bit crazy. It fits. The normal missions had normal bosses, like the forged sentry gun, the VTOL, or the spider-looking robot. That's like saying Far Cry 3 was trash because some of the boss fights were outside of reality and they weren't realistic. When you're fighting Vass, he's spawning in clones inside of a Gotha, literally. Or you're fighting that hoe-ass girl from Jungle who spawns in a big as fuck 4-story high boss who starts throwing shit at you. No, that's the whole point of the game. You're out of your mind. Same with BO7. Of course there's going to be a massive Hopper boss. That's just the vibe. Also, there is an interesting thing with over-the-top stories, which is they don't shift from good to bad. They actually go from good to ridiculous. If you don't like the goofy shit, that's okay. The point of it might not be to like it, but rather to get confused or to get shocked by it. And the overall theme will still be enjoyable because it's so ridiculous, it will give you something to laugh about. There's some sort of emotion you'll react with. Even if you negatively react, that is way better than not having any emotion, because then what's the point? It's just boring. I don't know who did the sound, the art, and the animation, but Black Ops 7 is insane in those regards. Like 11 out of 10. Like Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael Donatello, and Kanye West produced this masterpiece. When you play the campaign, it literally feels like a movie. Literally. Oh my god, like look at the transition. Look at the effects.
Like it feels you in the game.
Literally, like you feel the sound. You feel it like it's literally there. If I show this to my grandmother, she'll think it's a movie.
Can you
because
skip?
of how good it is.
Please
We are
skip.
not. I have no clue what black magic they did to make everything sound and flow so well, but it's some of the best art department work I've seen in any Call of Duty. Seriously, I can't explain it and do it justice. You just have to play the game a bit for yourself to feel what I mean. There was definitely some mismanagement with the screenplay, so the written dialogue and structure of the campaign. Since all the other parts of the campaign are supreme, it really highlights this as a striking issue. Like the dialogue is a bit weird. what it feels like is a draft version of the full story. So it follows all the story structure theory to the book. There is a 3-act structure. Chekhov's gun technique is even used on the hijack mission. Character blocking and hierarchy is very clear, so the storyboards that led up to the campaign scenes were all done professionally. But the actual writing, I don't know. Past cards also have had perfect story theory. Black Ops 1, for example, uses the Rashomon effect by having the game take place in the memories of Mason, which slowly become more disjointed with true reality up until Steiner's death. The Black Ops 7 writing cannot be an issue with talent because clearly the other departments locked in hard. It feels like bad mismanagement from higher up, and they clearly were able to set up the dialogue in a strong direction when they wanted to. Look at 50/50. She is written to perfection. Her archetype is concrete. She's strong as hell, stronger than all the men, saves the male characters, whoops the villain's ass. Had they had the same passion for Harper and Mason, they could have had the best COD campaign ever. But again, at least it's serviceable. You can make an argument that the target audience changed, and so did the environment. As the world wars drift further away in time, newer generations wouldn't vibe with World at War, Black Ops 1 style campaigns. The perspective shifts, so it becomes less and less profitable to invest in that direction. It actually just becomes more and more niche, as people no longer have anyone in the family who remembers and was able to pass down those vibes, especially as you go further west, where the wars had less impact. Coincidentally, eventually if you go to the edge of the west, you end up in Cali, where Activision and Treyarch live. What a coincidence. Would the game have been better if it felt like older CODs? Of course. But less people would buy it, because people have become deluded. And Black Ops 7 campaign perfectly aligns with people's delusions. It is a bait, ready to serve the desires of the peons. Here's a quote from Miyamoto Musashi. The way of the sword is the way of clarity. Comfort is the fog, in which common men are led by bait. Even if you don't like campaign, endgame practically carries the whole experience regardless, since it gives you a reason to play further after the story already concludes. A lot of COD campaigns already have addressed this issue by adding trophies, collectibles, camo grinds, cheat codes, etc. to replay for, but BO7's approach is way more solid because it attaches the campaign to an even bigger experience where the story can continue on. A lot of the missions within the campaign actually set this up prior because they're all set in Avalon, which is a wise setup. Which is even wiser when you realize Endgame in itself is a setup for BO7's Warzone map, which comes in Season 2. In Endgame, you run around and complete challenges while killing NPCs to level up and grind, and to beat Endgame, you fight the final boss who will spawn on the map. There is different bosses now, and it's especially cool to experience them all, while the whole server starts challenging the boss, because you can play with 60 people on the server. There is the camo grind as well, which lets you earn a special dark matter final camo that you can bring over to multiplayer or Warzone or zombies. This endgame is literally the Warzone Blackout 2.0 map. A lot of its positives are better experienced in Warzone. For example, I love how they brought back old Black Ops maps, which you can explore here. You have Hacienda, WMD, and more. It really gives that Blackout BO4 vibe, which had all OG maps redesigned to play in the Battle Royale. As for Endgame, the one thing I can say is that it sets up a lot of grinding potential by giving you more space to acquire camos, challenges, etc. And it's pretty fun, especially if you do the bosses. Surprisingly, I actually haven't seen anyone really hate on this part of the game yet, weirdly. Although it isn't classic zombies, Black Ops 7 Zombies, judged on its own, is great. Modern Zombies is very much grind orientated, getting camos, getting Easter eggs done, and Black Ops 7 Zombies really locked in with that regard. It's about the same as BO6, but they expanded Easter eggs with curse mode relics, and now you can get some juicy camos if you want to grind the Easter eggs on a higher difficulty. And the seasonal content they've dropped is really dope. I'm not sure if this matches what BO6 had, but it definitely outdoes BO3 and BO4. For Christmas, Astra Malorum got a whole redesign with added snow and frost mechanics, plus new sets of challenges to do similar to Black Ops 4 Gauntlets that finish with fighting the boss and getting a cooler card as a reward for the completion. Is really cool. Imagine Shadows of Evil got this same mode in Black Ops 3. Everybody would be getting insanely hyped. Other than this, they also added the Fallout mode, which added items from the game like Rad-X, food, and even the Death Claw. There's going to be a ton of cool modes coming later for BO7 zombies that won't get appreciated. Whether you like the mode or not, it is the most content we've seen in zombies ever. BO4 came close, but it scrapped a lot of the cool stuff like custom mutation modes, coming into public match and factions. I don't think BO7 scrapped much. It looks like they really tried to maximize the content that it could add to the zombies. It did not hold back. And although this is a modern zombies, at least they finally made the story of the game good. It's a mirror to BO3's story, which had the characters give away their souls, one on each map, whereas here it's the inverse. The characters are restoring their souls, 2 on each map, because there's 8 characters now instead of 4. Cold War, Vanguard, MW3, BO6, those stories were all ass. 4 games, and they made nearly no impact on BO7. BO4 made more impact in half of their maps, yeah, half, because it was split into Ether and Chaos story maps, and instead of the Dark Ether story we have in BO7 in 2019 September. It is now 2026. I don't know what the point of all the modern zombies games stories were. Yeah, I mean, I might be missing the point. Even still, why didn't it just continue on the track that World at War to BO4 set up instead of going on some tangent? And I know for a fact it's a tangent actually. Actually not a tangent, but a shit show. The moment they brought in Chaos to the Ether story to try to sell it better. What? That's like adding Batman into the Avengers. Of course it's cool, but it probably means the Avengers became shit. Otherwise, Batman wouldn't be needed to be added in. That's just an example. BO7 by some miracle returned to the story track which BO4 set up 7 years ago. That is definitely a good thing. Unfortunately means the Chaos story and the Victor's Crew Dark Ether setup we had with hints at Zombies Chronicles 2 ages ago will never ever happen, but this is the closest that was possible. I think it's okay. The maps in Black Ops 7 Zombies are great. Black Ops 7 overall takes a lot of inspiration from BO2. They remade Transit, but it's a completely different map, just with a similar idea of multiple locations, separated by no man's land with fog where ugly-ass creatures come for you to molest you. Best thing about this map is it's the most unique style we've seen in a very long time, maybe as far back as BO4. Speaking of BO4 launch is literally on this map, which is really cool. A lot of people forget that even though Transit didn't play well, it was still a great map. How well a map plays should be judged on fun rather than some equation or comparison to other maps. Transit was really fun because of its experimental mechanics, mainly the bus. The same thing is the case on Ashes of the Dam. Doesn't have the best boss, best wonder weapon, the most unique style. I don't think so, it's actually pretty mid. But the structure of the map, paired with Little Tessie the car, which traverse the map in, is what makes the map fun. That's the core experience here. Would better wonder weapons, bosses, and a better setting make the map better? Probably, but it wouldn't be noticeable. Just like in BO2, BO7 brought in survival maps again, which is a great way of reinventing maps to add more replay value really cheaply. They are really important for camera grinding since you can set up faster on them. I don't know why this never returned for 12 years, since there is literally no downsides to splitting up big maps into smaller sections, but it's here in BO7 and it's really good. When I'm recording now, the DLC 2 map has not yet released. It is rumored to be a BO2 Nuketown or BO4 Alpha Omega map, which is awesome. I like both, but I can't say anything about them because they don't exist. But there is a DLC 1 map right now, which is Astra Malorum. That map is completely based on older zombies. The mini-boss Oscar is literally BO1 George Romero. The setting in space is literally something you could have seen in BO4 Chaos Zombies. Saturn is straight up in your face. The map structure is similar to BO1 Kino, where it's a simple 3-lane map with a teleporter that instead of going to Pack Punch, now goes to the boss arena on Mars. The map doesn't feel like a modern zombies map, which is good. It has the spirit of OG zombies with BO7 mechanics. For those who are not aware, progression in BO7 is actually linked instead of separate. BO4 was the opposite. It had 3 different master prestiges, 3 separate dark matter grinds for the same dark matter camo, by the way, 2 separate weapon prestiges, etc. And that was okay, but BO7 is the opposite, so every mode now counts for a single progression and anything you earn can be used universally. The important effect of this is you don't have to redo things. If you play BO7 multiplayer only, I want to play zombies, you don't have to start with completely nothing. And it also means that there is an incentive to prestige your guns, since if you plan on using them on different modes, then you'll get XP regardless. Also, apparently BO6 and BO7 augments are linked, which is also crazy. And again, it means you don't have to regrind everything. With that out of the way, the progression in BO7 is insane. There's literally rewards for everything. Camos, calling cards, skins, gobblegums, even leaderboard events you can grind, and I mean everything, really. You beat an Easter egg, use a calling card. And maybe a skin if you did it really fast. You got all the Dark Ops completed? Well, here's a special calling card. You did some random bullshit? Here's a camo. I think this has been a standard since Cold War Zombies, but please remember that BO4, BO3, BO2, BO1 had barely anything of this sort. If I remember correctly, World War II actually had more rewards than any of those games, which is insane. Oh my god. Actually, you know what's crazy? You remember that Voyage of Despair Gauntlet, the hard version? You know what you got for beating that flawlessly? A sticker. No, deadass. They gave you a sticker, which by the way, you can duplicate to different accounts anyway, because you can add it into an emblem and then dupe the emblem over to different accounts. So no, you didn't get a camo, you didn't get a skin, you didn't even get a calling card for doing it flawlessly. You got a straight up duplicatable, hold on, how do you say that? Duplicable. Is that a word? A sticker that is able to be duped. That's what you got for doing that bullshit. For completing that fortress mode without dying once. That's bullshit. In BO7, the stuff you get for doing dumb shit is actually usable, like camos, calling cards, skins. There was even rewards in progression in the BO7 beta. Now, there's going to be some people who rightfully say that OG Zombies was good regardless of its lack of progression. Clearly, the game should be judged on its fun, like I literally just said, rather than bonus aspects that really don't affect the core game. And you're 100% correct. The bonus content in BO1, BO2, BO3 was never in progression, but rather in YouTube content. That's what served the purpose of convincing people to keep playing the game or to get into the game. BO7 progression could technically be a full-time job if you wanted to collect everything. And will it all matter? No, not really. You have to understand it's very rare to manufacture a simple game that by itself can attract people. There are coincidences, like Fortnite, and of course you don't need all these progression systems to make a hit experience, but people will abandon it and it won't be able to survive long term. Classic Zombies is another example, and naturally, like newer Fortnite, it evolved in this direction so it can continue to live on. And some people may say it has evolved into total ruin, maybe, but at least it still exists. Some games didn't evolve. They died. Maybe Fall Guys. I mean, I'm pretty sure that shit's kind of dead. Yeah, I think Fall Guys is a good example. Dead Ops Arcade. I never really cared about Dead Ops Arcade, but in Black Ops 7, it's probably the most fun I've had in this game. It's very underrated. A big issue with zombies after Advanced Warfare is that it became pretty easy since the meta was broken every single game. But Dead Ops Arcade never had its classic zombies core mechanics changed since 2010, so it's still insanely difficult, and that's why it's so fun, since it actually means something if you get a high round on here. Playing this with friends is also extraordinary as it turns into a shit show really fast. Normal zombies now is unfortunately just turned into a RuneScape. It's more about grinding camos and Easter eggs and enjoying the core game. Dead Ops Arcade has zero grind elements, except the level 80 final boss, Appleback, camo, and a PS trophy, and one single Dark Ops calling card. You can't even beat the game. No exfil, no Easter egg. It's an echo of how OG Zombies used to be before it eventually collapsed. You can play on 4 different modes here. Normal, which is the normal hard as hell mode. Hardcore, which is literally Satan's dungeon. Casual, which only lasts 40 rounds and the game gives you more loot on the floor. And these can be played on first person if you prefer over the default top-down view. In Black Ops 7, they added a Slayer Mart as a new mechanic, which is great since you can go upgrade your abilities now. This adds a bit of replay value since you can try out different items in different games and try vary your build a bit. Also, there's a lot of cool locations to find here like Snow Nuketown, similar to BO4, and a ton of maps from 𝒃𝒆𝒃. There's even zombies dressed up as OG specialist skins from 𝒃𝒆𝒄. There's a ton of Easter eggs to find in the game, since some areas have interactive elements like the eyes, which blast orb that kill zombies if you stand on them in the round 41 arena. And the bonus rooms especially have so many hidden loot areas you can find. You can even wall jump on 𝒃𝒆𝒄𝒅𝒄, weirdly. The best feature, in my opinion, is that you can use gums now, and a lot of the trash ones from normal zombies are very good on 𝒃𝒆𝒄𝒅𝒄, like the nuclear gum, which you can use early game when you get a free nuke every round if you're at 0. And the gum gives you bonus cash for using those nukes that you can then use for upgrades. So from my personal experience, if every part of 𝒃𝒆𝒃 is garbage for you, experiencing 𝒃𝒆𝒄𝒅𝒄 with some friends alone makes it worth getting the game, maybe. Again, this is my personal experience. I really like this mode. It gives that similar feeling to OG classic zombies, which I don't think has been felt since BO2 or Advanced Warfare. Maybe BO2 actually, I don't know about Advanced Warfare. It's the last echo of a long lost era. But times move faster now and people have more choices than they can commit to within a single lifetime. That means that the mode does not have the capacity to forge a place for its own destiny in these times of distractions. It will always be overshadowed by normal zombies. Across all modes, the content updates on Black Ops 7 are amazing. The first collab they've done is with Fallout, and I love that game. Back in 2018, I was so hyped to see a sequel to BO3 and Fallout 4 drop the same year again. Unfortunately, Fallout 76 was a disaster at launch. I would have never imagined they would combine the games together in a Black Ops game. If you travel back 10 years to 2016, people would really be going crazy over such a collab. People now just have such a high standard for content, maybe because of Fortnite or GTA, that this came out and no one really cared. Why? I don't know. I can understand the problem of adding in Beavis and Butthead or American Dad skins to 𝒃𝒆𝒃, since that idea was way ahead of its time. On God. But if BO7 collabs continue on like this, it will be extraordinary. A lot of people like to compare new cards to OG cards, and most of what they say makes sense. I think new cards are trash. Not only do I think that, but I literally didn't play new cards at all. I stayed on BO4 only for years because new cards were so bad. But in this case, people are just lying and finessing at this point. The amount of content in these collabs, new maps, new modes, new skins, new guns, new announcers, lobby reskins, leaderboard events. We've never seen that in classic COD ever. Yeah, not in BO1, BO2, BO3, BO4. I cannot understand how you can say it's not enough content or it's not high enough quality content, and also say that the game is inferior in all regards to its predecessors, when those predecessors themselves didn't have shit for content updates. You see, like, this is like a paradox, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is like a bit retarded. Of course, there was crossovers, especially in zombies, but they were not full events. They were just themes within those isolated maps. Mob of the Dead is technically a crossover, but it's core content in the game. Modern CODs added crossovers on top of the content in the game. Astra Malorum is a weird crossover with retro futuristic 1920s and deep space, but on top of that, they added another crossover to experience with the map. You can go play the Fallout inspired mode with Fallout mechanics, so food, radiation, ghouls, zombies, and a Deathclaw final boss on that map. And if you want to play that on Ashes of the Damned, you can do that too. This is on a whole different level to what CODs used to produce, but people don't seem to feel the impact at all. I'll reframe this for you so you can see how stupid this sounds. If this content released on BO3 zombies or BO2, maybe Origins got a Christmas reskin or already got this Fallout update, the people's opinion would shift drastically. So the content is in fact awesome. Now you could say BO7 is just not as good. That's the main problem. But you're forgetting in 2012, BO2 zombies was getting shit on because all the maps were weird. And Treyarch was trolling with dumb shit like no PhD on Die Rise. You're forgetting that all the COD games in the past have had major issues. Big issues. Some people were not even born at this time, but again, in 2012, on BO2, there were people complaining about SBMM in the first month of the game. Yes, SBMM complaining didn't start in 2019. It was very big in 2012, and especially in 2014 with Advanced Warfare. If you don't believe me, go check and rewatch content from then. You'll even see old YouTubers rocking SBMM in their clan tags years before all the SBMM shit shows of the 2020s.
What we do here is go back.
I sent a tweet out saying, why am I always getting paired up with these guys? People's 3rd prestige, 4th prestige. I'm not even level 55 yet. Why? Skill-based matchmaking. Did I even say that right? Skill-based matchmaking.
T, the blatant truth, and somehow, some way, I managed to bypass skill-based matchmaking entirely to the point where I was stuck into a lobby and just countless other people would join. It was just noob lobbies.
He basically went 0 and 100. Let me see, what were his scores? I actually I took some screen caps. 0 and 133, 0 and 145, 0 96, negative 28, negative 30, negative 70, and on, so that you'll get put into really bad lobbies.
Transit was literally made for retards, guys. It was made for absolutely ridiculously awful people who have an IQ of negative 89, negative 69, make it that.
Let me first start off by saying, I'm a fucking idiot. I was sold on the hype, the bullshit. And don't buy into whatever people are saying. You don't have to buy into what the fuck I'm saying. You're gonna play the game, probably within today or tomorrow, and you'll find out for yourself. So I had more fun playing the beta, a Medal of Honor Warfighter, than I did playing Black Ops 2 multiplayer. True fact, man. It's over, man. And I can't imagine all these channels gonna do hints and tips. It's just so boring, man. This whole fucking, you know what? I'm glad that I don't have to provide hints and tip videos to fucking entertain people, because I would fucking stab myself in the forehead with a bayonet that I stole from Wings Redemption's house before. I would have to keep going another year of providing hints and tips, man. I'm so fucking done. It's so boring. It is played out. It's like, I've used this analogy before. Call of Duty Black Ops, Call of Duty fucking Modern Warfare. It's like a vagina that you've been staring at for 50,000 years, man. It's boring.
And this is why I absolutely despise Die Rise. There is nothing good to that map, and when they teased PhD, they got me crazy.
Black Ops 2. It's just that lately we've been having a lot more fun playing different types of games, and that's just because Black Ops 2 has been out for 9 months now, and we've done so much in that game that it's kind of harder to have a good time and even make as many videos as I did before, so that's why I haven't been posting as much Black Ops 2.
I'm so fresh, you can suck my nuts. Swag. I'm so fresh, you can suck my nuts.
What you're seeing in BO7 is not new or unique. It is an illusion. The games have not gotten worse because every issue BO7 has, in fact, has been present in classic COD. What's happened is people got more serious and emotionally unstable. Like, how is it possible y'all had an issue of SBM for 5 years, but you didn't go back to BO4? Y'all kept buying the new games knowing damn well nothing changed and you complained year by year. How you finna complain about something you chose to do? People are straight bitch made now. Somehow people are twice as smart now, but they have twice as little common sense as they used to in the 2010s. I think a lot of these randoms got brain rot now. I can show you infinite more examples of hypocrisy where brothers will dick suck old cards but hate on new shit that was also in those old cards. But you can't argue with delusion. It's pretty simple. There's two choices. Either you'll see everything through a nostalgia tint and never enjoy anything new, so that you can prove to the world that the old, which again doesn't even exist anymore, is superior. And even if someone teleported you back to whatever era you really love, you would still be miserable because the nostalgia tint would come off and all the bullshit that's, you know, in the present time will reveal itself in the old time as well. Or option 2 is you just forget all about the past and behave accordingly to the present. If you want to play BO2, go play BO2. If you don't like SBMM, don't play BO6, like literally common sense shit. That's what I did. I was never haunted by any of this bullshit, so I can think clearly. You cannot fix every problem because problems are a feature of life. They are not a glitch. People can't ignore all the irrelevant issues like they used to. They really want perfection, but perfection doesn't exist. They say BO2 was perfect, but that wasn't the case. People made BO2 perfect. by looking at it in the right way. How is it possible that there are people who love MW 2019? They dick suck MW 2019. They worship that game when it was literally the shittest COD ever made. Well, it's exactly because of this. Their perspective is more optimized for that game, so they could enjoy the game regardless. And in a few years, some people may say this about BO7, maybe BO6. The idea that there's one perfect game that should have all others compared to it in an effort to make those games better, that's all bullshit. It's an illusion. I think they should remaster BO2, but it's not really because it's the best game ever, or it would be the most fun, but sadly, miserably and pathetically, I would only want it remastered because the overall community vibe could shift. The aura, the spirit of the community wouldn't be so focused on little problems just like it was back 15 years ago. And because of that, the games would just become amazing. Allegedly. That's at least what I think. Warzone has always been trash since it was made by Infinity Ward in Modern Warfare 2019, so that shit is dog shit regardless. Only Blackout worked as a proper battle royale mode. Allegedly, Blackout 2 will be the next Warzone update for BO7, but we will have to wait till after Season 2 to really know if BO7 Warzone will be good with the Avalon map. I do hope it will, but who knows. Also, Ranked hasn't come out yet, but it should be better than last year since they seem to have locked in with a Ricochet anti-cheat finally. So hopefully there won't be any cheaters running around everywhere. I also just want to quickly say thank God the UI on BO7 isn't complete dog shit. Look at the main menu. Look at it. It's so straight. So simple. It's just so normal. Pause. Black Ops 7, although not perfect, is the closest you've had to a classic COD since BO4, and it seems its fate will also echo it when Modern Warfare 4 comes out and reverts all the policies Black Ops 7 brought in, just like Modern Warfare did by destroying everything Black Ops 4, and by extent classic COD stood for. The continual hysterical mob destruction of Black Ops 7 will only result in further proof that the systems which it aimed to revert, the very systems which led to your disappointment with the franchise in the first place for the last 6 years, are necessary, and they must be brought back again next year. This happened 7 years ago, but most people have forgotten the tragedy of BO4 and never left BO4 for 7 years, so I remember it very vividly. MW 2019 was not a coincidence. Cold War was not a coincidence. They all came about because of BO4. The zombies was universally hated, the multiplayer was universally hated, Blackout was universally hated, and there was no balance to this hate. So BO4 was cut short. The extra 2 years of content, which would have spanned till 2021 November 4th, was scrapped. Classic Zombies was destroyed and replaced in Cold War. Classic multiplayer was destroyed. Classic Battle Royale was destroyed. And in its place came systems and policies that didn't aim to make the game better, but instead they made sure that the game can survive regardless of the environment. Heavy microtransactions made sure even COD Vanguard, that shit game, was profitable. SBMM made sure even Modern Warfare 2019, with a horrible multiplayer, had a strong player base. Modern Zombies made sure that the mode wouldn't be an expensive risk to produce like BO4, but this all came at the cost of the player. Is it Black Ops 7 that disappointed you because of its direction? Or is it the direction of COD, which you've experienced for the last 6 years, that's broken you? It's ironic in human psychology that the year where people totally give up on an idea is also the first year where their idea will be taken seriously, because it's the first time that people are willing to burn everything down and themselves with it, rather than to continue onward as things are. Black Ops 7 will share the same fate as BO4, which is disaster. And in 5 years, people will look to it and wonder how it could have failed when everything coming after it only got worse and everything before wasn't much better. It will fail for the same reason Black Ops 4 did. No one participated in its defense.
This is me.
it was unimaginably more costly to attack the systems Modern Warfare 2019 brought about for 7 years than it would have been to defend the opposing systems while they were still alive in Black Ops 4. It will also be cheaper to defend BO7 now than to attack Modern Warfare 4 when it reverts all of Black Ops 7's policies. SBMM will come back, doors will come back, disbanding lobbies, shitty zombies, probably no dead silence, no movement. Oh my god, bro, that shit would be a disaster. It's Infinity Ward. They haven't made anything good in like the last 5 years. No, since like, actually they haven't made anything good in the last 10 years since Infinite Warfare. So if you know I spoke the facts, then you better like the video to tell me how enlightened, how smart, how godlike this video was. And of course, you have to subscribe, because if you know I'm spitting the facts, then you subscribing to me is inevitable. I'm just too sexy to ignore. So you might as well do it now, since you'll be subscribing to me regardless. I own you. Now that you've got to the end of the video, it's just simply destiny. Of course, tell me what you think and how you see BO7 in the comments. If you like the background gameplay, then watch the rest of my BO7 videos. Have some juiciness, allegedly. And for now, farewell.